I would like to give a warm welcome to everyone who has joined us or will be joining us for this month's Rare Birds Mentor Lab, Building a Marketing Machine that Converts. I am Kath Riley, the Mentoring Partnership Manager here at Inspiring Rare Birds, and I would also like to welcome Racquel Collard from SMB Marketing Solutions, who has kindly given her time to present one of our Mentor Labs this month. To begin, and in the spirit of reconciliation, Rare Birds would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the various lands on which we meet today and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to the elders past and present and extend the respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people. For those who are not familiar with Inspiring Rare Birds and our community, I thought I would give you a little bit more information about who we are. Our mission is to support and promote diversity and inclusivity where opportunities, entrepreneurship and leadership exist is equal to everyone. We are best known for our mentoring programs, but we also offer a range of educational masterclasses. We host online and in-person events, providing people with the opportunity to build their networks and grow with the Rare Birds community. If you would like to know more, please feel free to indicate this on our survey, which will pop up at the end of our session, or reach out to me or anyone else in the Rare Birds community. We would love to support you in any way we can. Please feel free to use the chat function on the right-hand side to introduce yourself, comment, or connect with others in the group. And as we go through the presentation, if you have any questions, we do have a Q&A tab where you can put them and we will answer them at the end. So I would now like to give a warm introduction to Racquel, who is the founder of SMB Marketing Solutions, a company providing strategic marketing solutions to purpose-led business owners. MBA qualified and a certified practicing marketeer, Racquel shows entrepreneurs and business owners how to leverage the potential of a strategic marketing roadmap, which is customized to your unique business needs. So, Racquel, would you like to take it away with your presentation?
Thanks so much, Kath. I really appreciate it. Just to give you a heads up on this, this presentation, I've only got about 20-25 minutes to go through what I would normally spend hours talking about. So it's going to be quite top level, but there is the opportunity to ask questions, as I said, at the end. So just to recap, my name is Racquel Collard. It is spelt incredibly badly and it's entirely my mother's fault. I help entrepreneurs take control of their marketing and find business success their way, because everyone's version of success is actually different from other people's. My book, Marketing Launchpad, was released last year, and I've got a new one, Marketing Liftoff, which is coming out next year. So I'm looking forward to that. I also have decades of experience marketing businesses of all different shapes and sizes. I have an MBA, I'm a certified practicing marketer. So when it comes to marketing, I've probably been there and done that. So it's something I'm very passionate about. If I'm honest, I'm a complete nerd. So today, what we're going to cover is I'm going to recap on what is marketing, because a lot of the time that gets misinterpreted as, is it a social media post? Is it running ads? All sorts of different things. We'll look at the 3 elements to marketing success and the components of a successful marketing machine. How to convert your clients through your product and your content mix, and marketing automations you should have in your business. And then we'll look at optimizing your funnel for higher conversion rates. And then, as Kath mentioned, the Q&A session at the end. So most people hate marketing. I say this as a marketer who loves it and loves seeing the results, but it doesn't have to be hard. And the purpose of a marketing machine is actually to make your life easier. It's about automating as many functions as possible and making marketing your business something that's actually doable and not overwhelming and stressful. So there is something that you should keep in mind when you think about any form of marketing activity. And that is ultimately that what you're doing is having a conversation with your ideal client. So the way you differentiate, if you've got two people who do exactly the same thing and the only thing differentiating them is themselves, and usually your unique selling proposition is you and how you do your work, then it comes down to knowing them, liking them, and trusting them. And the conversation you have with your ideal client is they have a problem they're looking to solve, and you're going to tell them about how you can help them solve it. That conversation is going to happen at a time and place that's suitable to them. So be it on socials, on your website, whatever. But that's usually what people think of as marketing. And that's really just the activity. Marketing is the conversation. So these conversations happen everywhere. It's your website, your socials, at events, at networking functions, at awards, when you do media, when you do speaking, even your ads. But they do require you to understand your message. They do require you to understand your ideal client, and they do require you to understand what your promise is, what problem you're solving, and how you're going to help them. So, and they should obviously also be strategic. I'm a strategic marketer, so that's my jam. But ultimately, you're in business and you want people to trust you enough to buy from you. And all of your conversations need to drive to that central point. And that's where your marketing machine comes in. So what I find in terms of a recipe for success is if you've got clarity about who you are, who you want to work with, and what you do, you focus on the right activities and you have the confidence to go to market and scale, you will be successful. So for that, you need a strong strategic foundation, which was the basis of the book that I wrote. You need a marketing plan, and I tend to call those a marketing roadmap, and you need the marketing machine. And those three elements actually align perfectly with the clarity, the focus, and the confidence. So today we'll look at that marketing machine piece. And ultimately, it is about conversions. It is about taking prospects and making them paying customers if they're the right people for you. So the elements of a marketing machine are quite... they can be quite overwhelming when you're looking at them for the first time. So all of those white circles at the top of how you bring your prospects in. But ultimately, the core of your marketing machine is going to be your website. And the reason for that is you want to drive everybody to your website, and you want to convert people from prospects to customers on your website because you own your website. It's not a social media page that somebody can turn off at any time. It's not a media outlet who can turn off your article at any time. This is something you can control fully. And that's what you do want with your marketing. It's going to need to integrate with everything from your payment gateways to your reporting platforms, to your email system, to your databases, to your accounting systems. But if you keep in mind that your website is the heart of your marketing machine, all of your other decisions and all of your other processes come off that one central point. Now, with your customers, they're all going through a journey. And a lot of you will have seen the customer journey before. It has 6 phases. They become aware that they've got a problem. They consider the different options they've got to solve that problem. They make a purchase. They experience it. Hopefully they love it. And then they become a fan or an advocate. And if you've got a well-designed product range, then they'll take the next step with you and buy the next product, increasing their customer lifetime value. It costs money to bring people into your marketing machine. So the most that you can maximize the return on that investment, the better off you'll be. Looking at it another way, it is that funnel that I refer to. So lots and lots of people are going to come in at the top. And what you want them to do is self-select out if they're not the right person for you, leaving your ideal client left to make the purchase. And then some of them will love you, some of them will hate you, fewer people will become advocates, and some will then go back to the top of the funnel. But the reason your machine has so many entry points is that 60 to 70% of the buying process for business to business sales, which a lot of consultants and coaches and that are in, is happening before they even do something that you can track. So for instance, they will read your social posts, they'll read your articles, they'll watch your webinars, they will see you speak, they'll meet you at a networking event. but they will learn to like and trust you before they actually get to your website and do something like download a document or buy a product. So think about that in terms of the, I suppose, the priority you put on the activities that you do. And if you have a complicated sales process, be it tenders or proposals, that will drop in at the consideration phase. This will require a manual process, and hopefully they'll convert. But the rest of this process, you can probably automate most of it. And that's where your marketing machine comes into play. So this is a really simple sales funnel, and it's one of the most easy way to relate to a marketing machine. You have a product. On your website, you'll have a landing page for that product. You'll have a checkout page so people can buy it. That will take them to a thank you page where you may do an upsell, or you may just do a wow factor. Love to have you here, blah, 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 bonus gift. And then they'll drop into an email sequence. This is the simplest way of doing it. But what that means is your product is your key. Your website is your machine. Your automations are going to help you scale. And you can do these one at a time. They don't have to be super, super complicated. Now, a couple of the key elements in that strategic foundation is, one is your product strategy. And that is about aligning your products to the customer journey so that you can build in know, like, and trust factors along the way. So when they're in the awareness phase, they're going to be looking at a lot of different information, and that's where free products or introductory products come in, be they a free download or a free webinar, that sort of thing. When they're considering their options, you will give them a low cost and low risk product. So it's a little step. You've solved something for them with the free thing, but they'll be inclined to drop a little bit of cash just to test you out, hence building the trust that you need to get them to buy your core product. In the purchase phase, you're going to have a core product and probably a premium product, because there will always be an element of the market that wants a VIP service or a faster service or something better than the regular one. But this is where your engine, everything points to your core product. And then after they've experienced it, obviously, then you can go into super exclusive, ultra premium offers like retreats or special events, that sort of thing. But if you can have something in your product range at every step of that journey, and with your machine, if you can automate at least the first two levels of that, then your life becomes simpler and you can focus on the really, really important elements. Looking at it another way, you'll see the customer journey going along the bottom there. The price is going up as you go through. But what you are trying to do is solve a problem each step of the way to prove your value, to prove that you actually can deliver on the promise you make, that you can help them solve their problem. So no risk offer, solve one small thing. Then with the consideration phase, you will have solved that. You will have educated them about the need for the next step and the next step and the next step. And it doesn't have to be a really mean thing to do. And what a lot of consultants do is, if you've got an onboarding process, you can actually productize the entry levels of that process that you've got. So for instance, I have a questionnaire that I do for all clients that I bring on board. I've actually turned that into a health check tool, which is like a quiz. It's a mini version of that, but it's twofold in terms of benefit. I see if that's somebody I want to work with, but they're getting benefit of something that only my clients would normally get access to. And then I've got a slightly higher offer to help them solve a particular problem in my low risk thing, but it's an automated course. And I've also got the book. So just think about how you can actually break down maybe some of your processes and do it that way. But your product range is the key to your marketing machine, and the rest of your machine is about how you sell and deliver it. So the key here, as I said earlier, was to make it as easy as possible for everybody, including you. You want something that will automatically convert as people are going through. So, but you've got to bring them into your machine first, and that's where your content comes in. And again, it needs to be mapped to the customer journey, because the questions people are asking when they've identified a problem are different from the questions they ask when they have a bit more information about it. So the awareness phase questions are usually very top level. I have a headache. How can I fix it? Your consideration of options is when you've got a little bit more information and you've maybe got more things that you've noticed are also issues. So for instance, life coaches, they might give a tip about how to solve stress in the first instance, but there'll be underlying factors. So whatever their modality is, whatever their expertise is, they will then frame the next bit around what it is that they can help with. So keep in mind, you've got different types of products for each step of that journey, and you've got different types of content for each part of that journey. In this day and age, I would suggest that with content, it does primarily need to be video. It's a pain in the ass, but then you've got tools like Descript that will take your video and turn it into a blog and turn it into a YouTube description and all of that kind of stuff. So and I'm totally passionate about content repurposing as well. So talk to me about that another day. But just make sure you're giving people the information they need to trust you, to get to know you, to like you, so that they will buy from you. Okay, so this is an example pathway to market, and this is for an expert. Now, anyone in consulting or coaching is an expert, but also anyone in retail is an expert. They need to be an expert about what they sell. So you've got things like speaking opportunities, you might run workshops, you might win awards, you might have partnerships and memberships. You're going to be seen to be an expert in this field, and that's when your messaging is really important. Then you're going to bring people in with hooks and funnels. So your social media content will point to your website. Your book might point to your website. Your workshops will bring them back to the website for an offer. Ads will obviously go to your website. Your newsletter will bring them back to your website. The point is, on your website, you'll then convert them and they will pay for different products at their step of the journey. This is an easy framework to think about. If you simplify it in this manner, it takes away a lot of the stress. So back to that machine and that simple sales funnel. Obviously, that sales funnel is really, really linear and simple. All of your systems need to integrate. And this is where a lot of the time your marketing machine falls over. And this is why I'm a big proponent of things like native integrations as opposed to using something like Zaps. I have a lot of systems and I'm obviously a marketing nerd, so I love all of that stuff. But I've got systems that I absolutely want to use, but I have to use Zaps to get them to connect. And authors have that problem if they've got a book delivery system. A lot of the time it's not built into a website. But where you can, pick the technology that actually works natively with the systems you've got. So that actually takes a lot of the choices off the board. And when you're looking at something like having over 25,000 different types of software out there in the marketing space, and I think that was from 2 years ago, so it's probably exponentially higher now, it takes a lot of your options out. And if you design your or if you choose your website platform to deliver the product range you've got and communicate the way you want to communicate, that again takes a lot of the choice off the board as well, because you'll have key fundamental functionality that you need, which means some things are just going to be completely off the table. Simplify. You definitely want it to be as simple as possible. So don't let it overwhelm you. There are ways to make clever decisions around it. And it is a simple matter of understanding what it is that you do and then working out the best way to do it. So where I said the website was the heart and the product range is the key, the email marketing and automations are your engine. This is how you scale. This is how you deliver a consistent customer experience without actually having to bring on new team members or new resources. And it's, as I said, it's about making it easy as possible to deliver your products and to convert your leads into clients. So you've got to look at things like workflow automations. You've got to look at things like social media scheduling tools. You've got to look at things like making sure your emails request reviews. You might have listing synchronizations if you've somebody who needs to be on a lot of directories. Automate your analytics and reporting as much as possible to bring it into one spot, and use the right AI tools that will actually help you get the job done faster. Now, To give you an idea of how a machine works, it's quite simple. So this is from a customer's point of view. They make a purchase on your website. They go to a thank you page and they're given access to a product if it's an automated product. An invoice will be emailed to them if it's applicable, and then they'll go into an email welcomes program where they'll be given next steps. You'll check in to see how they're going, or request feedback, or request reviews, and then you'll make the next offer in the product pathway. From the back end, you're tagging the client for the type of product that they have. So you've got good segmentation information. You're giving them access automatically if you possibly can. Your invoice will be sent to your accounting system so you don't have to do manual uploads. You'll add them to your customer database. You'll assign them to the right person, or be it an account manager or a consultant. If there's work involved with your product, you'll create a workflow and a to-do list and assign it to the right people automatically. And then if it's a product that they need to deliver, that delivery process will go in. And then after that, post-purchase campaign, which is where you have your opportunity to cross-sell and upsell. Imagine if you can take all of that off the table and then you just focus on doing the work, and you know that everyone's going to have exactly the same experience. It's a lot easier to manage, and it's a lot easier for you to deliver and focus on the things that really will benefit you and your business. So there are some key email automations that you definitely need in your business, and they are new customer onboarding campaigns. These are going to make or break you. This is where you make fanatics out of people who are vaguely interested in you. New subscriber campaigns, you talk about things that you're passionate about, that are of interest to you. You give them as much information as you can to entice them to work with you, but you welcome them to the fold. If you've got lead magnets, like those free introductory offers, then obviously you want a structured campaign that will then show them the value of it, how to use it, and then what they might be interested in next. And then the other things are abandoned cart. They're not sexy, but they're really, really valuable from an ROI point of view. Just don't be the person that sends out an abandoned cart when somebody's already made a purchase, but they may have shut their browser down, because I got 3 of those last week and it's really irritating. And then the other thing are reactivation campaigns. So for subscribers, you don't want dead wood on your database. If somebody hasn't clicked on anything in, say, 3 months, put them into a holding campaign, send them a reactivation program. If they don't respond, then take them off your database, because you need an active database to have good domain authority and get to the right inboxes. Customer reactivation, obviously you've already paid to bring these people into your machine. So if they haven't done anything for a little while, reach out, see what's going on. It doesn't even have to be a hard sell. It can just be just checking in and seeing how you're going, that kind of thing. Depends on your brand, depends on your tone of voice. But the key here for building your own machine is to map out the processes and the systems that you do and see how you can actually automate them and make your life easier. And if you have a VA, you've probably done a lot of this, and this is a way of replacing human interaction where possible with systems and processes. Now, if we look at it from a conversion point of view, so obviously you want to get prospects to become customers. Some key things to make sure that you do get higher conversions are natively integrate your systems where you can, because they'll break loose. And that means none of your systems will stop working. And chances are, if it's something like a free download or a free course, you're not going to know, because nobody's going to tell you about it. You're just going to look really unprofessional. So do it natively where you can. Make sure that your product range is mapped to that customer journey, because you're solving problems that they're looking to solve. Therefore, they're more likely to engage with you, which means they're more likely to convert to paying customers, and you're giving them the opportunity to get to know you, like you, and trust you. Your automations, you want to automate as much as you naturally can without coming across like you're churning and burning people. So you also want to produce content that will drive demand for your products. So to bring people into the top of that funnel, you're going to be creating a lot of content that is about engaging them, showing them that you understand, answering their questions, and showing them how you can help them fix their problems. Content is one of those things that can be completely overwhelming, and I have entire workshops just around content and content repurposing. But it is critical, and it's not just social media posts. Okay. So it is things like articles, it is things like webinars, it is things like speaking opportunities. It is things like writing an ebook if you want to. And the other thing I will say, to make sure you stay on track the results for every part of your funnel. If you can track whatever you do in marketing, you can see what's working, what's not. If it's not, you can fix it. If it is working, then you can do more of it. And that's really, really important. And that means you know what to focus on. But remember that at every step of the way, it is about that conversation. It is about letting them get to know you and like you and trust you. And if everything points to your machine, it means you can focus on bringing people into that machine, knowing your machine will take care of the conversion process for you, that you will educate them enough, that they will trust you enough and get to know you enough, and that you will upsell at the right time and all of that kind of thing. It is furthering that conversation. And if you can do it in a way that you've automated most of your products, and you have ads, for instance, that come in, that you know that you've got a particular return on that investment for product purchases for the people that you bring in through your funnel. And I've got whole workshops about that as well. But it's basically a money-making machine. If you can build something like that, then that actually makes everything easier, because then you can focus on the fun stuff. And that's what it's all about. And marketing is a scary thing for a lot of people, because there are so many options out there. But if you can just sit down and look at what's going to work, how you're going to step people through their journey with you, with your products and your content, if your email campaigns and automations kick in and give them the right information at the right time, then it's golden. And then you can just focus more on the things that you need to focus on, be it delivering the work and everything like that. So bring it back to your 3 essentials. If you've got these in place, then you're on the road to success. Life becomes a lot simpler, and you can scale when you're ready. And it's not going to be stressful. A lot of businesses, if they have a really successful, something goes viral, for instance, and all of a sudden everybody's on their website and everything crashes, you look like an idiot. If you've got this set up in place, if you know what you're talking to, who you're talking to, what you're talking to them about, if you've got a plan to actually get your message out there, and you've got a machine that will convert them once they come to you, then you're well on the road to being successful. With the book, that is available, but I actually think, I just realized this, I think I've given the Rarebirds team a link for the follow-up email where you'll get access to a free copy of that, so don't worry about that slide. If you do want help with planning and prioritization for your marketing activity, there is a Rarebirds offer there for $100 off a marketing roadmap. So you're welcome to take advantage of that offer. That will also be in the follow-up email, so no rush there. But the other thing is, that was a really condensed version of this. But for me, a marketing machine is about allowing you to scale, but making your life easier. So it's a really valuable tool for you to have, and it's something that can definitely deliver value for you. So automate as much as you can. Schedule as much as you can in advance. Take the pressure off yourself so that you can actually enjoy your business. If you've got any questions and we don't get a chance to go through, because I know I just went over a little bit, feel free to book in a call with me and we can go through any questions that you've got. So thank you for your time, and let's do the questions, because there were so many good ones.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Honestly, it's been a really engaging presentation, and you've shared so much with us. And I know marketing can be hugely overwhelming, but I feel like you have definitely simplified it and made it very easy to understand what the key elements are for success. And as you say, how important it is to have clarity, focus, which then gives you confidence. So just a few questions to start. I mean, if anyone has any other questions, please do pop them in the Q&A tab. But I guess, first of all, Rachel, why should I say, is a solid strategic foundation important to building a machine that works?
Basically, it's going to allow you to make the best decisions for you and your business. So if your strategic foundation includes things like your content strategy and what you want to be known for, your product pathway. So you know what needs to be delivered. Therefore, you can make decisions about what website platform you use or what conversations you have. Knowing who you are, who you want to work with means that you don't have to be talking to everybody. You can talk to one person. Marketing allows you to talk to that one person at scale, which is the beauty, but it is literally about making better decisions. And if you've got that foundation, it means that all of your plans and activities come from that foundation. Therefore, you're going to go in the right direction as opposed to getting completely overwhelmed by all of the choices everywhere. So for me, it's about simplification, to be perfectly honest.
And in terms of building a marketing machine, what are some of the common hurdles that you find that businesses face when trying to do this, and how can they be avoided?
Choice. There are so many choices of different platforms, even picking what website platform to use or what email system to use. I always bring it back to, what is my product range? Then that tells me what website platforms could potentially be used. I look at what integrations they have available, or are they going to be able to meet all of my requirements? So do I have multiple domains? All of those sorts of things. But if you've got your product range in mind, you've got the way you work in mind, you can then make easier decisions about what technology to use. Most people start doing, most businesses that I counter, they create a website on, say, Squarespace or Wix, that kind of thing, and just get something up and running, but it's not future-proofed. And by the time they reorganize their product range, they realize that they need to deliver courses, or they need to deliver coaching, or they need to deliver products that they weren't thinking of. So then they've got to go and change their web platform. If you know that in advance, then you don't have to do the changeover. So it really is just because there's so many choices out there that people panic or do something as an interim that then they then have to go and change, and that's really double handling. So yeah.
How easy is it though to work out what is the best system? I know we've just had Catherine here who's just popped something in the chat asking, you know, what would you recommend to start with for an automation system when you're developing a new business?
I would need to look at your product range. I would need to look at how you work. I'd also need to look at what your existing systems are. But ultimately, and actually, to go sneaky plug here, I've got a webinar next week, which is actually about picking marketing technology platforms, because this question comes up all the time. If you look at your product range, that's actually going to narrow down your choices. And that is the core of what you are going to deliver. And then it's going to come down to, what do you like using? And I usually go for, if there's a system you like over using over another system, pick the damn system you like. Cost-wise, also have a look at the numbers and see if some of them just get hideously expensive the minute you get more successful. So think about your product range, think about what you need to deliver, and that will actually guide you and narrow down your choices really, really quickly. And then once you've got your web platform, you then know what natively that will integrate with you in terms of your email and automations. Some of them will be built in, some of them will be separate, but they will probably have native integrations, and that then narrows down your choices again. And if you can do that, then, because email systems, they all work the same. Automation systems, they all work the same. If you've got a project management system that you like using, find out what it integrates with natively. The fewer zaps you can do, the better your life's going to be. So I just look at it as an opportunity to look at what I want to do, and then use that to help me narrow down my choices. E-commerce is a really simple one. I used to work for a huge e-commerce company, but by the time we worked out what we needed in terms of how many price lists we had available, how many currencies we wanted to use, how many countries we wanted to have different shop fronts for, that narrowed my choice down to 2 from the literally hundreds of versions of e-commerce platforms that I originally had available to me. Then I could do a compare and contrast, see what their support was like, and we made our choice that way. So it comes down to your product range and your needs.
And how often would you say that you need to adapt your approach to these things? Like, if you're scaling, do you need to get systems that take that into consideration?
Yeah, my philosophy for technology is start as you mean to go on, if you can afford to. That is the caveat, obviously. If you know that you might not have a product right now, but you do want to introduce it in the next 12 months, make sure that you account for that in the technology systems that you do select now. Most automation and email systems can scale from 0 subscribers to 1 million subscribers very, very easily. But there will come a point where it may get too big for some of the cheaper options. So I would say look at what you want to achieve for at least for the next 12 months. If you've got a really clear vision for your business and you know that you're ultimately going to present this, then try to build that to start off with and bring in the bits when you're ready. But select your systems with that vision in mind. And that way you then don't have to go and scramble and create a new website and waste all that time and energy and money. So
Okay.
I do review them though every year.
Okay. And we have some questions from our registrants that forward before the session. And just going back to automation, how do you automate without losing customization?
You know what? That's segmentation and tagging, the magic of everything. So if you know that you've got a particular type of customer, the minute they buy or engage with a particular type of product that you've got, tag them accordingly, and then make sure that all of your automations or all of your email programs talk to that customer, not everybody else. So your new subscriber journey, for instance, is going to be very generic. It's going to be your ideal client broadly, but you'll be talking about who you are, what you do, how you can help generally. But once you know that you've got, say, like for me, if I've done somebody's marketing roadmap, I'm not going to be talking to them about marketing planning because I've already taken them through a marketing plan. Then I'm going to be talking to them about optimization and other things. So that segmentation piece, the reason in that automation slide that I showed you, the reason I tag them in the first instance is so that I know what I'm going to be talking to them about next. And if you've got a clear pathway for your products, for instance, you know that if they buy this, you're going to talk about that next. And if they buy that, you're going to talk about that next. And if you buy that, you're going to talk about that next. But you're not going to go straight to the end because it's going from 0 to 100. You're on a first date and you're asking them to marry you. So, just make sure that you build into your automations that segmentation, and then that you make sure that you use that for your database.
Okay. So you're customizing according to their journey and where they're going and where they're at.
Yeah. And a lot of the time that's actually quite natural. It is if you know that you've got your product pathway makes sense, then you know what you're going to be talking to them about next and you don't really have to worry about it. But sometimes you might have two ideal clients, and if you do, please don't, but you probably do sometimes. You know that you would be talking to a corporate client differently to, say, a consumer. And if that's the case, segment your database and talk to them differently.
Okay. And then I guess I've had a couple of questions around budgets, really. So what are the best marketing methods for a small business with a small budget?
Basically, anything. If you've got a small budget, you're going to have to give time. And a lot of that will be things like generating content and getting it out there, but also doing things like PR outreach, trying to get on podcasts, trying to do speaking opportunities, trying to get articles published, that sort of thing. Takes time, doesn't cost a lot of money. The other thing is networking, absolutely valuable tool, doesn't cost a lot. But things like referrals, ask for referrals. If you've got existing clients, ask them to refer you to a friend if they're happy with what you do. And affiliates and partnerships. This is the one that most small business owners don't really think about, but it's twofold. If you're using a system and you're recommending it to one of your clients, get on their affiliate program. And then when you recommend it to the person, use your affiliate link and then you get income. But also offer affiliate opportunities for people who are in complementary industries with you. So they do the selling for you, but it doesn't cost you anything until they actually make a sale. So it's a lot cheaper than advertising, but also it's more powerful because they're recommending you. So if you're, for instance, an accountant who works with small business owners, you might have an affiliate or a partnership situation with lawyers who work in the same space, business coaches who work in the same space. So think about those partnerships and the affiliate and set it up. And if your marketing machine is really good, it'll cover your affiliate program as well. And if it's an activity you want to do, make sure your website can handle it or your payment gateway.
Great. And in terms of like an actual budget, is there like a figure that you would often say that businesses should consider, a small business, like a percentage of their revenue? Or do you have a view on that, on what maybe people should be spending?
Yeah, look, that one, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to what you can afford. There is no right or wrong answer. I used to, when I was teaching marketing for university students, it was like, if you're in the launch phase, 10% of your revenue should go to your marketing spend. If you're in, you know, if you're coasting along, you've been in it for a while, then you might be able to drop that down to 1 to 2%. Small business, it's far too erratic for that. So basically, what I would say is, any marketing activity you do, make sure you get a positive return on investment as quickly as possible, or let it go. So if you're going to do advertising, do short, sharp tests and only invest in the campaigns that work for you. I also, given how differently consultants charge and everything like that, there is no way of me saying, okay, you're starting up, have $10,000 in the bank and that will get you a great marketing plan and build your website, because I don't know what your website is. I don't know how complicated your plan needs to be. So really, I'd go with what you can afford. And if, when you do spend money, make sure you're getting a good return so that you can spend more on things that work. But yeah, no right or wrong answer there, I'm afraid. And that was a big cop out, it sounded like, but really there is no right or wrong answer there.
How long's a piece of string? It's difficult.
Exactly.
And then I guess just another question that came in, which is from a, someone who is really in the early stages. And what would you recommend for those people in that stage who don't actually have a website yet? How can they get their brand out there?
Get a website.
Yeah.
The
Using socials perhaps in the first instance, but you need
look,
to direct them somewhere, don't you, I guess?
Yeah, look, socials are great to start off with, but you don't own them. And websites can be free. Like, you can register a domain and get a free website on GoDaddy and just leave the GoDaddy branding, or you could get a free version of Wix and Squarespace. They've all got free versions, and you don't actually have to do the paid version until you're ready to. But please get a website, because you want to drive people from all of those platforms, and then you want to bring them back to a place where they can engage you and subscribe to your newsletter and all of that kind of stuff. So you're building assets. 98 is something like, it's almost half of small businesses in Australia don't have websites. But if you don't have one, you don't exist as far as Google is concerned. And it's something like 89% of people are researching you online before they will even look at you. So you've got to be there, and you've got to have a presence that makes you look professional. So I'd say get one as quickly as possible, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It could literally be an about you page, a home page, and, contact me for an appointment, something like that. But please have a website. This is a digital world. You've got to drive people somewhere, and Facebook, LinkedIn, they can all turn off your pages because you've got absolutely no power over what they do to you. And followers don't mean customers. So you want to monetize as quickly as possible because you're in business.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rachel, for spending your time with us and sharing your knowledge and expertise. It's been really interesting. I'm sure people have found it really valuable. The resources that Rachel's including in her presentation will all be included in our wrap-up email, which will be sent to you after the session. This email will give you easy access to all those resources, including Rachel's book, which I've read myself, which is great. Please also complete the survey, which will pop up after the session when you log out. We're always keen to hear your thoughts and feedback. And if you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me or the team. We are welcoming new mentors to the Rare Birds community. So if you would like the opportunity to share your expertise and experiences with a mentee, again, you can indicate this on your survey and we will reach out to you. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope to see you again soon for our next Mentor Lab, which is on the 30th of October, Maximizing Social Impact for Your Brand Story with Tiffany Ng. So hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.